Recording. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So today we are going to start our first Python class, like formal class. Okay, yesterday we had introductory level, right? So today we are going to start with Python operator and variables. Okay, so let me share my desktop. I hope everyone's that Anaconda is ready. Jupyter notebook, correct? So this notebook I had already shared in Google Drive, and yesterday I shared the link also, right? So please go ahead and just download and open with Jupyter. Okay, then you can do parallel programming along with me. Okay, so first we'll talk about Python variables, because this is the first thing which you define in any programming language, right? To store your data and later you process the data, correct? So what is variable? So let me start with whiteboard. Are you able to see the whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Python variables, what are those basically? These are nothing but known as container. So when I say container means this particular thing, whatever you are going to define in Python, it can store some data. Data could be anything. It could be like a normal set of character, it could be a number, it could be array, or it could be anything, right? So that's why it is called container. Fine. So how to define basically? So first of all, you should know like how to define the variable. So there are some rules to define the variable, and which is common across all the languages. Okay. So first, you cannot have any variable name starting with number. Let's say one ABC. This is my variable name. This is not allowed, because you cannot start variable name with the number. Okay. You can have ABC1. This is fine. This is acceptable. So any variable which is starting with number, which is invalid. You can store the number at later, or maybe A1BC. This is also allowed. Okay. You cannot have any special character starting with the variable name. Let's say not only starting, in between or ending also. So let's say you are starting number with ABC. This is not allowed. And by the way, hash is nothing but known as comment operator. So whenever you put a hash in beginning of the line, or any of the line which is starting with hash, that will be treated as comment. I think in C, C++ you use double slash, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Okay, so similarly in Python, your comment will start always with hash. Fine. So this is no more a variable. This is nothing but a comment. Fine. Now you cannot have any special character like ABC. This is not allowed. You cannot have $ABC, not allowed. You cannot have, let's say, what other character we have? Caret symbol, then ampersand, ABC. These things are not allowed. Any special character other than hash, these cannot be used for defining the variable. Okay, so please remember that whenever you, even though if you don't remember, just keep defining the way you want. It will throw the error. At least you'll get to know, right? This is the way you should not declare the Python variable. Okay, what else? So I think some are waiting. Let me admit them. Okay. Yeah. So what are another way to define the variable, like official way or proper way to define the variable? You can have, let's say, ABC. You can have capital ABC. You can have mix of ABC. Correct. So these are nothing but case sensitive. I think every programming language is case sensitive. Okay. So let's say you define a variable like a small a and capital A. One, both are different. It is not same, because this is case sensitive, right? Small a will be a different variable and capital A will be different variable. Okay. Similarly, you can have a small ABC, capital ABC, mix of capital and small letter. Those things are also allowed. You can have double underscore or single underscore with variable name, leading and trailing underscores. This is also allowed. Okay. So it has special meaning. These are nothing but treated as private variable. Okay. Some of the functions name also we defined with the help of double underscore, leading or trailing. Okay, so those will be treated as private. This will come under object-oriented programming, which we are not going to talk, but you just remember that this is also allowed. You can have single underscore also. This is also fine. Okay, so these are the way to define the variable. Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Okay, I think your internet is very bad.
Sir, why we use private variables?
Okay, so that's a good question. So let's say you have some program, okay? You have written some program. So many lines are there, right? So let's say one variable I define here ABC, and I want to make sure that this variable is not exposed to the external world. When I say external world means other people should not be able to use it, or they should not be able to see. Then what is the significance of it? Basically, this variable, when you define, right, you can use, or you're free to use within your program, just for some different purpose or local purpose, and it is nothing to do with external world. They are not going to use it for any purpose. Okay, so internally it is just toggling around here and there in this program, do some job and just sit idle, nothing else. Okay, so only for that purpose we use private variable. Similarly for private function also, I'll maybe once I talk about the function, I'll show some examples, then you will understand. So it doesn't mean like, okay, once you define, no one can see or no one can use it. They will be able to see and they will be able to use it. But whenever there are some way to display all the existing variable in the class or object-oriented programming, when you do, right, or all the existing function name. So whenever you do that, it will not be visible until you explicitly fetch it from the program. So that is the use of private variable. Okay. Any other question in this? Okay, so that is the way we define. So please remember, all the special characters are not allowed. You can have underscore, and you can have mix of cases like uppercase and lowercase, and it is case sensitive. So small letter and capital letter both will be treated as a different variable name. Okay. Fine. So now let's see how to define the variable. I'll go to another whiteboard. Okay, so yesterday I talked, right? So once you define the variable, what happens in the background, which you don't see basically. Okay, so let's say I define a equal to 123. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is nothing but a variable name and also known as container, right? So what basically it contains? Can someone tell me? Those who know C, C++, probably they can correlate. I would like to hear from someone.
No, values.
Integer value.
It's integer value. What else?
Integer value. So
Okay, but in the background, what is happening? Can someone tell me? By looking at this, you will tell, okay, it is integer. But in
the variable create an address, or we can say a space for the values,
Exactly.
and that value is stored over there.
Exactly, that is what I wanted to hear. Okay, so let's say you have some memory space here. Okay, so this is the moment you create, right? It doesn't mean that 123 is just getting stored in A. That is not true. What is happening the moment you create a container, right? This will be holding the address of that 123. Okay, and this memory address, let's say mostly it is represented as hex. Okay, so this number will be, let's say 123 A B C F, some number. It's a very big number. Okay, based on the memory size, it will be created that hex value. Okay, 123 ABC. So this A is holding or pointing, I would say, this memory location. So whenever you try to do print A, right, we saw yesterday, correct? So print A, what it does basically, when you try to call, it will go to this memory location, and whatever is stored, right, that will be returned, and that's how you see 123 as output. Okay, remember that. So I think this is common across all the language, but there is a tweak here. In Python, there is a garbage collector or memory management, which is happening internally whenever you launch Python interpreter. तो ये क्या करता है? जब भी हम लोग define करते हैं variable, right? So it will just point to the memory location, और वहाँ जो भी variable है, जो भी value है, it will just hold that address of that value and it will return whenever you call it. Fine. Now here is the magic part, or maybe something new you will learn today. So let's say I define A equal to 400 and B equal to 400. Now, can someone tell me what happens basically in the memory in the background? Those who know C, C++, Java.
Sir, A and B create an address for the values we are giving, and
Okay.
those 400 get input on that address.
Okay, so I think in other language, right? I think C, C++, or I'm not sure about Java, but it might be true. A will be 400. I mean, some memory location here. Okay, and B, the moment you create B, that will also point to some memory location for 400. So basically, you are occupying two memory. Okay, two separate memory block for A and B. That's what happened in other language, but in Python, this is not the way it happens. What it will do, it will just create memory block is already there. Okay, the moment you create A, let's say you created A, which is pointing to some memory address, and here 400 is stored, correct? The moment you create B, right, it is not going to create another block, rather it is going to block or point the same memory address. Okay, that's how it optimizes the memory. So what it does, the moment you create, right, some variable, and after that you are again creating some variable, it keeps checking in the background, do we have any variable which is already defined or already available in the memory? Okay, if it is available, it is just going to point the same address. Okay, so this is one part which you guys should know, and this is very favorite question for interview. They will definitely ask this kind of question. What do you know in about memory management, how variables are created, how they point to the address? Okay, now after you define, let's say line number 1, you define A equal to 400, line number 2 B equal to 400, and line number 3 you again define B equal to 500. What will happen in this case? Any idea? Anybody?
सर आउटपुट नहीं आएगा।
आउटपुट नहीं आएगा? नहीं, अभी तो आउटपुट की बात ही नहीं हो रही है। मतलब क्या होगा पीछे बैकग्राउंड में, क्या होगा?
सर v की वैल्यू 500 से रिप्लेस हो जाएगी।
या रिप्लेस तो हो जाएगी, बट समथिंग रिलेटेड टू मेमोरी आई वांट टू नो व्हाट विल हैपन, मेमोरी एड्रेस। ओके, सो इस केस में क्या होगा, whatever memory was getting pointed right to this address, that will be delinked basically. Okay, and it is rather creating a new block, and it will start pointing to this address. Okay, so this will keep happening in the background in the runtime. Whenever you keep switching, let's say again you define B equal to 400, what will happen? Again it will delink and it will start pointing to this, because A equal to 400 is already defined. Okay, so you don't have to really worry how it happens. There is something called garbage collector. So what it does basically, it will all manage the memory as well as allocate and deallocate the memory. Okay, and this pointing, depointing, right, everything will happen with the help of this. And memory management, just right here, memory management, what to say, utility, or I would say program, is always running whenever you launch interpreter. The moment you launch, right, this will start running in the background, and occasionally or whenever you see memory is getting blocked or full, it will keep managing on its own, and you don't have any control on that. ये सब इंटरप्रेटर अपने से करेगा, खुद से करेगा, ठीक है? So any doubt in this? You just know about this. Okay, whatever I just mentioned, this is good enough. If you really want to know internal, like how it is happening, and this is very basic and very famous question. So if you say, let's say someone asks like, how much do you rate yourself in Python? If you say 8 by 10, then this question definitely will be asked. If you rate very high, means you must be knowing about this. Okay, so this magic part, please remember how it is linking and delinking the address and how it creates a variable. Okay, so that's about this. Now let's go ahead and define the variable now. So whatever I just showed, right? So how to define the variable? So you just put a name A, and this is nothing but assignment operator, which we'll see under Python operator here. Okay, and space is optional whenever you write, right? Let's say if I write A equal to 2, this is also fine. A space equal to space 2. So this, I think this is most recommended way, because you have more readability, right? Correct. So whichever way you want, you can do that, but this is the most recommended way, right? A equal to 2, then I think in C you must end that line with semicolon. It is not required in Python. you must go to the next line. Even if you do, it is optional. It is not going to throw any error. Okay. After that, let's say I define b equal to, or maybe I'll define a equal to 3 here, abc equal to 100. All are valid variable name. Okay. Underscore abc equal to 300. Now just print them. Print a, print capital A, print abc, print abc, print underscore abc. Okay. So if all are valid, then you will not get any error. As it is, it will print without any error. Okay. So that's the way you define the variable. And now what happens if you define invalid variable? So let's say, as I mentioned, abc equal to 2. It is not going to do anything because this is what? A comment. That's how you represent comment in Python. Okay. Now let's say you define @abc equal to 2. It is going to throw error. Why? Because @ is not applicable. First of all, @ has a special meaning in Python. Once you read about or learn about object-oriented programming, right, there is something called decorator. Okay. So this acts as a decorator. So right now I'm not going to talk because it will create confusion, because this comes under advanced Python. Okay. So you can use that, but not for the variable name. It is used for different purpose. And just mention used as a decorator. You can read it. Those who are interested to know, right? You can read what is decorator in Python. Okay, so I'll just comment it and let's go ahead and define abc equal to 100. If you define, what happens? See, the moment you run, right, it will show one caret symbol, because this dollar symbol is not at all applicable for defining the variable. It is invalid. Okay. What else we have? We can write percentage abc. This is also not allowed. It will throw error. Okay. What else we have? Caret symbol abc equal to 300. So you are going to get this kind of exception, syntax error, or it is not going to run. Basically throw an error. That's all. And this kind of error is known as exception. Okay guys, so any doubt so far? कैसे define करना है variable और क्या-क्या possible ways हैं define करने के? Invalid way and valid way. Very important point. You do not supposed to use inbuilt function as a variable name. Okay, so there is one line here I have just commented. If you run this, right, so these are inbuilt functions or inbuilt keyword available in Python. Okay, you do not supposed to use, let's say, dict. Dict you should not use as a variable name. Even if you define it, it's not going to throw error. But what will happen? Basically, you are overwriting the functionality of this particular keyword or function. Similarly, dir, this is already used. You should not use it. Okay, like int. You cannot use int a equal to 2. Okay, int equal to 2. You do not supposed to use it. Even if you use it, will not throw error. So be careful. You are accidentally overwriting the functionality of inbuilt keyword. Okay, which you do not supposed to do that. I'll just mention, do not use inbuilt variable name. This is the caution for you guys. Those who learn first time, right? I mean, they will try to do this kind of mistake. Okay, any other questions so far? This comes under variable. Okay, now let's talk about the type of variable. Okay, so yesterday I mentioned, right, I think I showed you guys the way you write values in Python, it will be treated in that way. Okay, so when I say what way, let's say you write a equal to 2. Okay, so everyone knows this is integer, right? So you don't have to explicitly mention integer a equal to or a2 equal to 2, not required. Okay, similarly a equal to 10, a equal to 10 dot a equal to 1 plus 2j. This is the complex type. A equal to double quote, let's say Pankaj, a equal to maybe 10.16. Okay, what else we have? Integer, float, complex is also there, string is also there. Correct? So that's all. So you don't have to really define whether it is integer type, float type, complex type, string type, or another float type. You don't have to mention that, because these are the possible ways. So we have integer, we have float, we have str type, that is string type, then we have complex. So once you guys do signal processing, right, this complex data type will be used. Okay, we do have some other kind of container also, which we'll see later. So let's see how to define them. Type of variable. So let's say I define a equal to 2. How to check its type? So the moment you do this, print a, fine, it is 20, but what kind of type it belongs to? So what you can do, print, there's one inbuilt function called type of a. So you put any variable name, whatever you have defined, it is going to return it belongs to which class, which particular type. You see here, this belongs to integer class type. Okay. Similarly, I can write b equal to, let's say, 10 point. So let me just write this. B and type B. Okay. See here, even though I just wrote 10 dot, it is valid. Don't think that this is invalid. Okay. So dot के बाद कुछ भी नहीं है, though it will take as a float type, and you can check its type. Give the variable name. It is going to return it belongs to float class. Okay. So let's take another example. Let's say I write something here, Pankaj. It belongs to string class, because the moment you put anything in the double quote or single quote, right, it will be treated as string data type. Now let me take 1 plus 3j. So whenever you define complex data, it must end with j. You see here, 1 plus 3j, it is complex data type. Okay, guys, so don't define, and that is why your Python, as I talked yesterday, right, it is known as dynamically typed language. You don't have to explicitly mention its data type. Okay, let's talk about Boolean. What is Boolean basically? Anybody? किसी को पता है Boolean type क्या है?
True or false?
It stores the true or value, true or sorry, or
True.
0 or 1.
Correct. Okay, so Boolean true in any programming language will be considered as 1. Okay, and Boolean false will be considered as 0. So you can define a equal to true. This is another data. Okay, you can just get print a and print type of a. See here what it does. It belongs to bool class. Okay, because it is Boolean. And always remember, Boolean true will be always treated as 1, and Boolean false will be treated as 0. So let's write that. Okay, so that's about Boolean type. Now let's see what are various Python operators. I think everyone knows about it, but we'll see a couple of examples just to refresh. Okay, so we do have this equal to, that is nothing but your assignment operator. I have written here a screenshot, you guys can read little more. Then plus equal to, so I think you would have seen this also, right, in C, C++. So there's a shortcut, right? So if I write like this, so let's say why we use and where we use it. Okay, let's say I define a equal to 1, and I want to use I want to add a with a. So a equal to a plus 1, I can do that. Correct. So instead of writing a again, there is a shortcut called a plus equal to 1. Sorry, a plus equal to 1. What I'm doing, a plus equal to 1. Okay, this means this is same as a equal to a plus 1. This is heavily used in C also. I am sure you would have used this. कोई है जिसको पता नहीं है? What is this plus equal to, minus equal to? divide equal to, double divide equal to, this is something new. Okay, this is there in Python only. I'll show what it is. Modulo equal to, आप लोगों ने यूज किया है कि नहीं अभी तक?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct, good. Then it will be easy for you to understand this. Okay, so any operator you will just put equal to, then it will be the short way of like a equal to a plus 1. Okay, so same thing is presented here. So we have double star. So in Python, double star is nothing but power of that particular variable. Okay, a to the power 2 if you write, right? A double star 2 if you write, it will take the square. A double star 3 if you write, it will take the cube of that. Okay, similarly we have bitwise OR, bitwise XOR, left shift operator, and bitwise left shift and right shift both. Okay, so let's see some examples here. That, yeah, a equal to 2 and b equal to 3, and I can just write c equal to a plus b. Print c. Okay, so that's how you use plus operator. And if you want to use any other operator, so you can do, let me just remove this, a modulo 2, a divided by 2. This is nothing but floor division. Okay, we have something called floor division also. किसी ने सुना है क्या floor division क्या होता है? Or any guess? I think it is not there in C, even in Java also. किसी को idea है क्या what is floor division? Sorry, okay, what I showed, yeah, this is float 1, and what is floor division? Seal and floor, you must have heard about it. Okay, so what it does basically, whenever you divide in number, right, it will have some remainder also, right? So that remainder will be shown if you are using this particular operator. Okay, but what if you use, let's say if I use here 10 divided by 3, you'll see 5.0, correct? Why this is there? I'll use B. 3.3335, correct? So it is whatever possible numbers are there after decimal, everything will be shown here. But same thing if I do here 10 divided by 3 by using double forward slash, see what will happen. And that is what is called floor division. Okay, what is the nearest value, integer value, that only will be shown. So sometimes you guys are interested only in integer value, right? Use this particular operator. If you want to consider full value, use this. Okay. And the shortcut I showed, right? A equal to, let's say 1 or 2, and you want to add a equal to a plus 2 and a. 4. You can do same thing by using this. A equal to a plus equal to 2. What will happen? 4. Okay. Just give me 5 seconds. I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. So any questions so far? So I want you guys to try any all other operator, whatever is listed here. Okay, just try that. It is very simple, and I'm sure you have already used it in your C programming. Okay, so arithmetic operator is nothing but, yeah, addition, subtraction, multiplication. This is what I just showed you guys. So let me just take it here and okay, and modulo you also know, and double star is nothing but taking the power. So let's say if I have a equal to 10, I want to take power of 2. How you can do that? A double star 2, it is just going to take the power of 2. Okay, similarly, you can write any number, double star 4, it is going to take power of 4. Okay, so let's see the comparison operator. So comparison, we have this greater than equal to, less than equal to, double equal to, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than equal to. Okay, so these things will be heavily used whenever you do some kind of conditional statement. Okay, conditional, based on the condition, अगर condition true है, so what you are going to execute. अगर false है तो क्या करना है, उसके बाद क्या execute करना है, correct? So for such condition, you will be using this kind of operator. So how to use that? A equal to 3. So this double operator is nothing but, it's not assignment. Okay, please remember that some people does this mistake. Instead of assignment, they will be using this or vice versa. And this is nothing but comparison operator. So what I can do, let's say equal to 10, b equal to 20, and I want to compare whether a equal to b is there or not. So if it is equal, then it is going to return boolean true or false. Okay, if equal, then a boolean true. If not equal, it is going to return false. Okay, similarly, what you can do, a is greater than equal to, like this, is going to return. And one more thing to remember, guys, whenever you do this kind of two-way comparison, right? Let's say left side some operand is there, right side some operand is there. You can put in the bracket also. That is optional. This is also fine. It is not mandatory like you should use bracket. Just to make it more readable, when you have multiple such conditions, right? Always put in the bracket. Okay. Any question on this comparison operator? Anybody, any question? If no question, then let's talk about identity operator. Okay, so if you remember, I talked about this memory, right? How do we know what is the memory address of A? What is the memory address of B? If A is pointing B or B is pointing to A, how we'll get to know? Okay, so for that we have one operator called ID. Okay, I think there is a, yeah. So to compare that memory location, we always use one keyword called is or is not. Okay, so don't get confused whether equal to be used or is operator to be used. Is will be used only when you want to compare the memory location of those variables, not the value. Let's see one operation here. A equal to, let's say 10 and B equal to 100. Okay, so if I do A, what to say? Let me first get the memory address of it. Okay, print ID of A. ID is the one which will return the memory address of this. Okay, and since it is in hex, so by default it will return in decimal format. I'll just convert using inbuilt function hex. It is going to return the hex value. You can see here. So somewhere in the memory, this is the address of A, and somewhere in the memory, this is the address of B. Okay, you see both are different, right? This is 21A50 and 2055D0. Now let's take the example of 10. See here, A was defined in this, and see the moment I define B, it is not defining in a different memory location, rather it is pointing to A only. I hope it is clear now. Whatever I showed with the picture, I'm showing you guys or proving that same memory location is there with the help of Python. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sure.
So to compare such location, right, we will always use is. So when I say you want to compare the location of B with A, you cannot do A equal to B. This means comparing values of A and B. Okay, so which is true. Now if you want to compare whether there are memory location is also same or not, you should use A is B. I just mentioned to compare memory location of A and B. Okay, so there will be some what to say, some scenario where you may see, okay, this is also returning true, this is also returning true. Then how we'll make sure it is really comparing memory location? That's where you should use ID of A and B. Okay, so you play with different values and see whether it is really returning true address or not. Runtime, you change the what is the value of B and see whether it has changed or not. Okay, so that's about is operator.
So
Yeah.
what is the role of hex over there?
Okay, so good question. I would have printed without hex, then you would have understood. So let's say I'm printing ID of A. See here. So when you don't use hex, by default it is going to return a big integer value. Okay, so since all memory location we talk in the hex format, right? That's why I use hex, which is going to take that decimal integer value and convert it to hex. You guys know bitwise operator, another thing, right? Or bit. Have you read already digital electronics?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in
Yes,
that you
sir.
will understand binary representation, octal representation, hex representation, and that is what I used here. Okay, so I'll just mention for your reference, hex is used to convert okay, it's for your reference. Now we have logical operator also. So again, this will come under your digital electronics, okay, AND operator or a NOT operator. So how to use that? So I'll just show one example. Okay, so when you have A equal to, let's say, 1 and B equal to 0. Okay, so if you do A and with B, what will happen? If any 0 is there, it will make the output as 0. Okay, so basically any value which is what to say, non-zero, which will be considered as Boolean true, and any value which is 0, that will be considered as Boolean false. So if you are not reading digital electronics or not yet read, or you are going to read, you will understand this logic. So I'm just explaining that's where you will be using AND. Similarly, or what it does basically, if you have any value which is non-zero, automatically that will be returning Boolean true, and for which value is true, it will return that value. So when I say A equal to, let's say, minus 100, which is also non-zero value, right? If you OR with B, what will happen? It will return minus 100, because statement or this expression is true for this value. No matter how many zeros are there, you are just ORing it. When you OR, you will get only the value which is high. Okay, high means other than 0. Okay, it is exactly opposite will happen in the end. Any value, if it is 0, everything will become 0. Okay, if none of them are 0, so whichever value comes at the last, because the moment end is there, right? I'm not sure further values will be zeros or not. It will keep checking at the last value. Until you get the last value, it will keep checking all the values. Okay, and the moment you see last non-zero value, that will be your final output. So I can just show here, let's say you have A equal to minus 100 and B equal to 200 and C equal to, let's say, 300. If I keep ending, right, A and B and C, what will happen? So and will always check all the values. It will keep checking A, it's non-zero. Okay, let's proceed further. Again, it sees B, which is also non-zero. Let's see whether C is non-zero or 0. Because if it is 0, everything will become 0, right? So it must check all the values. Okay, so final value, whatever is comes as non-zero, that will be your final output here. You see, that's why we got 300. Okay, so try that, and or not also. Not will just exactly opposite. So any non-zero value, it will make this as 0 value. So it's logical bit, right? So 1, if you do not, it will become 0, and not 0, if you do, it will become 1. Right? Same thing is happening here also. So now let's talk about membership operator. What is this membership operator? This is very helpful. Why? Because let's say you have trillions of values. Okay, in that value, it is very hard to manually go through each value and see whether whatever I'm interested in, it is there or not. Okay, so for that quick check, you have something called membership operator, so which is represented in the form of this keyword in and not in. Okay, so this will be very helpful when you handle very large data set, especially in data science, right? You have trillions of value, petabytes of data. In that data, you want to fetch one particular value which is present or not. Okay, just using this operator, you will immediately get Boolean true or false. So for timing, let's say I define a list. So don't worry about this syntax. I'm going to talk a little more about this once we talk about the list. So let's say 20, 30, I'm defining some values here, minus 100, minus 300. Okay, any value. So let's say you have millions of values like this. I'm not going to write all million values, but some values. Okay. And in this, you would like to check whether minus 300 is present or not. So what you can do, minus 300 in A. Let's see if this works. Okay. So you can write like this, or you can put, or you can use this kind of condition. This can also be used as a condition, right? Because it is returning Boolean true and false. Okay. So if minus 300 is present in A, that's what we are writing, right? If it is present, it is going to return Boolean true. Okay, if not, then it is going to return Boolean false. So let's put some value here. I'm just going to search 300 in A. 300 is not present, right? That's why I got Boolean false. Okay. Other good use of this is, let me just show some examples. Let's say I want to make sure that value is not present, correct? So what I'll do, 300 not in A. Is it really not present in A? Yes, it is not present. That's why we got Boolean true. Okay. So how this works, basically, the actual use case of this will be, you will iterate over each value using for loop. Let's say for num in A. Okay. Don't worry about this syntax. I will be talking about this under loops. Okay. If 300 not in A, print 300 is not present in. You can just mention like this. It's just one example I'm telling. Okay, so for every item, it is iterating, right? So you can just mention if not present, else break. What is happening? Why it is printing all? Just a minute. I would have used number, right? Else pass. I don't want to print for other numbers. Again, it is printing. What is happening here? So we got first value 10, number 10 in A. It is iterating for all the values. So I wanted to exit basically. So what I can do here, just for exit purpose, what you can do, if num equal to 300, okay, and again it check, then 300 is present. This is one way of doing that. So you can just print it's very strange. Did I overwrite any value?
Sir, it's minus 300.
Okay, minus 300, right? That was the problem. Okay, that was a mistake. Okay, so we are just checking whether number is equal to 300 or not. The moment it will start iterating over each values, right, it will keep checking the condition. Okay, so the moment it sees, okay, minus 300 is present, then it will just give this message and exit. Okay, it is not going to do anything. I can break the loop also by just using break. Okay, so if number equal to 300, then 3 minus 300 is present. But again, this should print, right? Why it is not printing? I'm missing something. Okay, for timing, let's consider this. Okay, that's not a problem. I'll be talking about this, how it is working, what is the logic behind this for loop, how that iterator works basically. Okay, how you can iterate. So remember, whenever you have this kind of check, right, you can always check by using in operator in keyword basically, and not in keyword, which is going to return boolean true and false. Okay. Now let's talk about bitwise operator. So bitwise operator, we have like bitwise and, bitwise or, then bitwise not, bitwise XOR, left shift and right shift. Okay, so I'll just show one or two examples, then you guys can do on your own. So let's say we have a equal to 10. So before that, I want to understand from you guys, have you read about bitwise operator, like left shift and right shift?
Yes, sir.
What is the best use of it? Can someone tell me?
To multiply and divide different digits.
Multiply in different units. Any other thing?
Yes, sir. Multiply by 2.
Okay, and divide by 2. So left shift will basically divide by 2, right? Maybe I'll just prove
Right
it.
shift, so divide by 2.
Right shift will be divided by 2 and left shift will be multiplied by 2. So whenever you want to do some kind of any number,
Yes.
You want to take half of it, right, without any mathematical operation, right, you can use bitwise operator also. I'll just prove it. Okay, so 10 will be represented as what? So 1 0 1 0, right? I can just print binary of a, you see here, 1 0 1 0, correct? If I do a, let's see whether it is really doing half or not. What is happening here? Print a left shift by 2 or 1. Let's see what happens. Is it left shift by multiplying, right? Right shift we have to do. You see here. So what basically it is doing, right? Let me just show with the help of whiteboard. So let's say you got number 10 as is a decimal, okay? Oh, sorry, integer number. So we got 1 0 1 0. The moment you do right shift, right? So what will happen? Here we don't have anything, correct? So basically this guy will be shifted and here 1 0 will be added. So that's what it is. So 0 1 0 1 0 1, it will be right shifted and here 1 0 will be appended. So total maintaining 4 digits, or what is it, 4 bits. So 0 0 1, not 2 0 here, 1 0 1 0, right? This is what is your number 10. So the moment you shift it, basically you are adding 1 0 here, right? 0 1 0 1, by maintaining a number of bits as 4. And this 0 is gone because you shifted it. It is completely omitted from this particular bit representation. And this is nothing but your 4 and 1, that is 5. Okay, that's how you do half. And if you do right shift, so this 1 will be shifted here. So how you represent basically 1 2 4 8, correct? So you have 1 0 1 0. If you shifted here, this is nothing but your 16 after this. So if you shift here, this 1 will come here. So basically 1 0 1 0. So 16 plus 4. Now this will become 20. That is with the left shift, and right shift by half. So whenever you do right shift, it will be basically your num divide by 2, and when you do left shift, that is nothing but num multiply by 2. Okay, so that is the best use of left shift and right shift operator. So I want you guys to play it because this will be very helpful, and that's how you can easily understand once you read digital electronics bitwise operator. It will be there when you do flip flop and all those reading, right? This will be very helpful. So any question, guys, in this? We are done with operators. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So built-in keyword, I already showed you guys. This is just for your reference. How many such keywords, like pre-existing keywords, are there, or functions are there, or attributes are there? Everything is shown here. So go ahead and take a look and make sure you don't use them as a variable name. Okay. So we'll take 5 minutes break. Then we'll start our next chapter called strings. And you have to be very patient for listening strings. It's very important. Okay, this as I mentioned, right? These four what do you say, data types are the heart of Python. If you don't know this, you cannot do anything. Okay, so let's pause for a minute, 5 minutes, and come back. Hey guys, I'm back. So any questions so far before we proceed for the next chapter? I hope you guys are understanding it properly, whatever have been taught so far. Confirm. Give thumbs up at least. I want to see thumbs up from everyone. Okay. Okay, guys, so let's start. So as I mentioned earlier, right, in the chapter, we have, I think yesterday I mentioned, correct? So data types, right? So first and foremost is your string data type. Okay, after that we'll see list, then tuple, then dictionary. Okay, so what is basically a string? So anything, whatever you write, right? Let's say you're defining some variable, and whatever value you are giving, if it is under double quote or single quote, right, that will be treated as string data type. Okay, you don't have to explicitly mention it is CHR type or what to say, character type or anything like you do in C, C++. Correct. So let's see how to define that. I'll just show some example, various ways of defining the string. Okay, so let me write ways for defining string data type. Okay, so let's say you have a variable here and you put anything on ABC, anything on double quote, correct? You can write 123, though it looks like integer, the moment you put on double quote or single quote, this will be treated as string data type. Remember, some people think, okay, I have given 123 in the double quote, it should be treated as integer. No, the condition for being a string is nothing but it should be under double quote or single quote. I can write 123 also. I can write let's say ABC in single quote. I can write A equal to triple quote 123. There is a special use case for this triple quote. Triple quote. Okay. I'm sure you would have not seen this triple quote where to use. Maybe in C, C++, Java, it is not at all existing. In Python, it is there. And this triple quote is used for something called docstring. Basically, it is used for documentation purpose wherever you define a function or class, right? So you see, right, how that function works, how that keyword works. So you will be using docstring. So once I talk about the function, I'll show where exactly it is used. So for timing, remember, in a string, you can have single quote, you can have double quote, you can have triple quote also. This triple quote is like 3 single quote or 3 double quote, because in keyword you have both, right? You can use this. Anything is fine. Okay, so opening and closing should be same. If you are opening with double quote, then your closing should also be double quote. If you're opening with single quote, your closing should also be single quote. Okay, but remember one more thing. If you are opening with single quote, you cannot use any single quote inside this. Let's say I'm adding another character here and just closing it. It is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because the moment you open, the first closing will be treated as one string. And there's no balance character here, right? Balance quote here for A. That's why it is going to throw the error. So whenever you want to define something, so open with single quote, and inside you use any other quote which is other than single quote. Okay, so I can view it like this, then 123 and close it with this. So your opening and closing are same. Inside you are free to use any other quote. This is acceptable. Same thing is with double quote also. I'll use 123 and here I can use single quote ABC and double quote. Opening and closing are same, and internally you are using another quote. This is also acceptable. Okay guys, so inside triple quote you are free to use any other quote internally, but not triple quote. So opening, closing, whatever you are doing, it should not be repeated internally. It should be always different quote. Okay guys, any doubt in this? That's the only thing you should know in the string. Later we'll see what and all operation you can do. Some people are still joining, which I don't like because class is going to be over, right? Okay. Any question anybody has? How to define the string? Okay, if no question, then let's talk about this. So I'm going to define, let's say here in single quote 123, b equal to single quote 123, c equal to, I'll use double quote here, Pankaj. I'll use single quote here. Okay, so this is allowed. D equal to what else I can write? Triple quote I can write, correct? So this is using triple quote. I can define E with single quote. Is also fine. Okay, let's print them. If anything is wrong, it will throw there. See here. So when you want to highlight that in the single quote or double quote, right, you can use like this. So any opening closing is fine, but other than opening closing bracket, you can use internally. Okay. So that's how you define the string. Any doubts so far? All clear? See how easy it is to define.
Yeah.
If you do in C, C++, Java, I think you have to write a lot of things just to define the string. Okay. Now, let's see what are, this is the way, how to check the type of a string. So I think I have already shown, but let's define one string here. Test 1, 2, 3, print A. How to use type? There's one type function, right? See here, this is the variable which you define and it belongs to a string class. Okay. Now here it comes and a very famous interview question. What kind of data type is string? So whenever someone is asked, right, you should always say immutable data type. Anybody heard about this? Immutable क्या है? Mutable क्या है? किसी को पता है? I think those who know Java probably they might know.
So
Not changing, sir.
mutable
It will not
object.
change.
So
Yes, one by one, yeah.
sir, mutable object can be changed after it is created, and an immutable object cannot.
Very good. Yeah, that's correct. So immutable means once it is defined, you cannot change its content, its internal content. You can delete the whole content, but you cannot change, you cannot manipulate, or you cannot alter any character of string. Okay, that's what is immutable. And mutable is once it is defined, you are free to add any data internally. You are free to manipulate the complete data, which is nothing but list and dictionary. Those are mutable data type. String and tuple, those are immutable. Okay, so please remember that this is very, I mean, one of my favorite question also in interview. I do ask this. This comes under basic and you guys should know. Okay, so I can just write it for you guys. String is immutable data type. We can't alter its content. Okay. And anyway, here it is written in Python, string is an immutable sequence data type. It is sequence of Unicode character wrapped inside single quote, double quote, or triple quotes. Okay. So now let's see what and all operation you can do. So first is concatenation. Concatenation is nothing but basically joining or adding two string, like the way you add the number, right, using plus operator. Similarly, here also plus operator can be used, but just adding two string. Okay, so what is the best example? I'll just use, let's say, hello world, hello, and b equal to world. Okay, and after that, if I do a plus b, it is going to return me hello world. That's how you do concatenation. But remember, there is a rule. Concatenation means you can always add same data type. In integer versus integer you can add, which is nothing but normal mathematical operation. But when you come with a string and a string can be added. String and integer you cannot add. You may have to do typecasting. Okay, so what I mean to say here, so let's say same example if I take and b equal to write 2. See here, it is going to throw error. Can only concatenate string, not integer. But if you really want to add 2, what do you have to do? You need to do typecasting. How to do typecasting? You can do, there is one function called str2. So 2 will be converted to string data type. Then you can add. Okay, so that's what about concatenation. You may be using this when you talk about output formatting and runtime. You keep adding the data, right?
Sir, when we have the that strings and number at the same time, then
string and number at the same time. So that's what is this, right? String and number at the same time. You're not able to add it. It's throwing error. So number needs to be converted to or typecasted to string data type. Then only you can add. Because hello is your string and this will also become string. Okay. Any other question, guys? If not, then let's see typecasting. We have already shown, but let me just write once again. String of 2, and if I write here type of a, see here, when I define a equal to 2, which is integer type, it will return integer type. But when I typecast it, this is the way to typecast. And again, if I print type of a, it is showing C here. Earlier it was belonging to integer, and now it is belonging to string class. Okay. There is another operation you can do string is repetition. Okay, so how you can do? So let's say you define a equal to, let's say hello. Okay, I want to repeat hello, let's say 10 times. So let's say you don't know repetition, how to do in string. What is the other way to do that? Can someone tell me any idea?
Loop.
You can use loop. What else? You can keep printing a, right? Maybe 10 times like this. Correct? Which is okay. As per program, it is correct, but this is not the optimized way or not the correct way to do that. So what you can do, if you want to repeat hello 5 times, you can just use star operator and just give 5. And this is value only for the string. See here.
So what we do to change the line?
Yes, that I was expecting this question. Okay, you can add slash in here. That is a new line character. Good question. I like this kind of question. Okay, someone is really curious to know what will happen if I have to add new line. So slash n is the new line character which you should use. Okay. So that's about repetition. Now let's see very interesting and very powerful thing about Python. Indexing and slicing. This is very important, and your whole life will be revolving around indexing and slicing on as long as you are using Python programming. Okay, so let's put a lot of effort in this and understand properly. Otherwise, all other classes you will not be able to understand. So let me use another whiteboard. Okay, so first of all, I'll just mention here indexing. Okay, indexing is nothing but basically you are fetching some character from the given data. It could be sequence of data. So in our case right now we are talking about string, right? So let's say I am writing Python. So what if I want to fetch only the first character? How to access this particular character? So if you just want to extract from whole set of character, just one character or two character, you should know what is indexing. Okay, so indexing in Python starts from 0. Please remember that In some programming, it will start with 1, and in Python, it will start from 0. So whenever I say indexing, so what is the syntax for accessing this kind of character? You write the variable name, and followed by square bracket, and put your index number. That is nothing but I. Index number. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? What is your variable name, and followed by this
Yes.
opening bracket and closing bracket, and put the index number. So if I do a of 0, what I will get?
P.
I'll
P.
get P. A of 2, what I'll get?
P.
T.
T.
P, right? A of -1?
N.
Yeah, that's correct. There's something new, probably I'm not sure you are aware of not. In Python, we can do reverse indexing also. So let me just write reverse indexing is allowed. I don't know if Java it supports or not, but in C definitely it is not there, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know C, C++ much. Reverse indexing is allowed in Python. And it starts from -1. Okay. So let me draw one simple syntax here. This part is clear, indexing. You can just write any number here. If I write a of -2, then this is nothing but, this is your -1, and this is your -2. So I'll get O. Okay. And whenever you do indexing, make sure that you use that number which is within the range. So range will be what? You starting from 0. So how many characters are there? 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So max 5. 0 to 5 only you can use. If I give a of 6, what will happen? Index error. That is the error will be thrown when you do access this. A of -10. It is not there, right? Because reverse indexing you start from where? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. Up to -6, you can go from -1. Correct? -10, again, same error. Okay, so that's what you should remember in the indexing. Any doubt in this? Indexing is simple. All you should know, it is starting from 0. It can start from -1 also, and number should be within the range. If you give outside the range, it will throw the error. Okay, now let's see the important concept about slicing. That's where people struggle to understand. So let me draw one number here. Not number, basically a small block. So let's say I'm having one string, which is nothing but a equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Up to 9 I have. Okay, this is the string. I'm going to put it here. 0, then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so as I mentioned, numbering, why I have taken this example, because numbering and indexing will be same, right? So you can easily answer, okay, to avoid any confusion. So numbering will start from 0, right? It will start from here, so that is 0. Let me write in a different color. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and same number you can use from -1 also. Reverse indexing, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, and this is your -10. Okay, just watch it. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Yeah, guys, so please remember this picture. Okay, fit this in mind. This is going to be very helpful. So next one is, whenever you move from left to right, basically you are giving the index from number which is like 0 to 9. Means we are moving from left to right. Okay, and whenever you give a number which is, let's say, in decreasing order, let's say you are moving from 9 to 0, means you are moving from right to left. Okay, any doubt in this so far? So
No,
whenever
sir.
we, okay, so remember this picture. Okay, so for slicing is nothing but get substring from given string. Substring is nothing but the part of string basically. Okay, so what it does basically, you have given a string, let's say you have written test 1 2 3 is one string. I want to extract only this part. Okay, so this is nothing but your substring. Okay, to access this you should know slicing, and this is the concept of slicing. Okay, so now you have the number left to right and right to left. Now let me write the syntax how to do slicing. So for slicing we have one bracket like opening and closing. We have start index followed by colon. We have end index followed by colon, and we have step size. Okay, somehow it is hanging. Now let me unshare and share again. Yeah. Okay, so we have start, we have end, and step size. So start by default, remember all those things, whatever I'm writing. You can start making notes in your notebook in case you want. Default is 0 or -1. End will be, default is length -1. So this length is nothing but how many characters are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So if you don't mention end, then total 7 minus 1 is equal to 6. 6 will be your end. Okay, and step size is always +1 by default. Is very important, remember. And +1 will be used only when you move left to right. Left to right. In case you are moving right to left, you have to explicitly mention this -1. Let me use another color to highlight this. -1 to be used when moving right to left, means you are moving from here to here. You see this? So when you remember this picture, right, then you can easily visualize which direction we are moving. We'll do a lot of exercise. Okay, I want to hear from you guys. So start is nothing but default is 0. If you don't mention, if you mention that, let's say you mention any number, let's say 3, so it means it is starting from 3. From there you go to the end. Let's say if you are don't mentioning end, it will go up to length -1. So if I give 3 colon nothing, right, 3 colon, if you don't mention anything, it is going from 3 to end, because length -1, total we have 10 character, right? So 10 minus 1, that is 9. Up to 9 it will go. Okay, step size, if you don't mention, it is +1. If you mention +1 also, it is going to be same. It is basically hopping from here to there. It will hop from T to E, then E to S, then E to T. It's like that by +1. Okay, if you want to hop every 2 character from T to, let's say, S, then you mention +2, +2, +2, like that. If you mention +3, so every third character from start, it will start jumping. Okay, is it clear, this concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then let's do the exercise. Remember this picture. Okay, so I'm going to directly write, I have mentioned here also for you guys to reference. So forward indexing is nothing but moving from left to right. Backward indexing or negative indexing nothing but moving right to left. Okay, so let me define here. So first I'll mention this indexing equal to a of 0. We already saw we'll get 0, correct? So a of 3, it will give 3, a of 7, it will give 7, and a of -1, it will give last factor. Okay, this is for reference. Now let's talk about the same thing again. Here we are going to do slicing. The slicing will come here, just a minute. Okay, so you guys tell me the answer now. If I put this, what will happen? Yeah, here I forgot to write, this is optional.
It will be 0 to 9.
Okay, please remember that this is optional. If you put, fine. If you don't put, by default it is going to take +1. Remember that, this is very important. Yeah, so what will be the output of this column?
0 to 9.
From 0 to 9.
From 0 to 9. Why? Can someone tell me the answer? Why 0 to
So
9?
by default, it takes start from in.
Exactly. So if you don't mention start, what I have told here, where is that? By default it is 0, right? Correct. And end also not mentioned, by default it will be length -1. And step size, if you don't mention, it will be +1 only, right? So every one character it will take. Okay, so that's a good answer. It will return 0 to 9. Okay, let's do some more. What about this?
So 0 to 9.
Yes, why? Because step size is optional,
By
right? I did not mention, correct? So here also I'm not mentioning. Is also same. Okay, now let's talk the fun part here. What will happen?
It will start from 2.
From 2 to 9.
2 to 9, that's correct, because start is 2, which will be always excluded, included, and whenever you put end will be always length -1. So if you don't give, it is length -1. If you give also, it will be taking that value -1. Okay, so end will always be excluded. So let me write here, always be excluded. Okay, because of this length -1. So this is 2 to 9. Now what about this? 2 to 8. You have given start, you have given 8. What will be the output of this?
2 to 7.
It will start from 2 and
Yeah, it will start from 2 and up to 7, because this is nothing but length -1. If you don't give, it will go to the end. And if you give, that is 8 - 1. So 2 to 7 it will print. Okay, what about this?
0 to 5.
0 to 5, that's correct.
0 to 5.
Yes. What about this?
Zero to
From
4,
left
6,
to
8.
right.
Come again. Whoever spoke first, I think
0 to
voice is breaking. 0 to what? Starting
1.
from
It
0.
will increase
From
by 2.
first index to last index, but an interval of 2.
Interval of 2, yeah. So basically starting from 0.
Step size.
Yeah, step size is 2, right? So every second character is starting from 0. So basically this is the way to filter even number. Okay, so this will be as an interview. I'll just highlight this interview question. Why interview? Because see, they will be telling you have been given a number right from 0 to, let's say, 1000. I want to extract all the even number. How will you do without using for loop, without using modulo? And this is the way. This is the one line answer. You can just tell using slicing by hopping to every second number. Okay, now this one, I think, yeah, forward slicing is this much only. Now let's talk about backward slicing. So I'm going to give number. Let's say I give -1 to end. What will happen here?
9 to 0.
9
to 0.
Only 9.
Only 9. What else? If I say you will not get anything, then or you are getting something, correct? So what will happen? Why you got -9? Can someone tell me?
Step size kills it.
Because here you are giving -1, correct? And here end is nothing but length -1. So basically you are still getting stuck here only. And by default plus size is +1. So it is not going to go beyond, correct? Because -9 + 1 is what? -8. But here what is happening? Sorry, -8 and -1 will be there, right? And by default, what we are giving here? +1, correct? So let me just explain this. So the moment you give a of -1 column, okay? So here you have not given end. So what is happening? -1 is nothing but you are referring to this. And by default here +1, which is hidden, +1 size. Okay. So -1, then -1, which is going to -2. But you have given a start as -1. So your boundary is set. I want to start from here. Okay. So this is your boundary. So it is going out of boundary. So you will not get anything other than -1. To go inside the boundary, what you have to give, I have mentioned here, right? -1 to be used only when you are moving right to left. So I'm going to move here, right? Because after right side -1, I don't have anything. I should go from right to left. So for that, explicitly, you have to mention step size as -1. Okay. So if I give this and just mention step size as -1, it is going to print all. You see here? Otherwise, it is not going to print anything. Okay, so that's what I told. Remember the picture and remember this concept, whatever I just wrote. That is going. Yeah, this particular part is very important. Okay, let's do some more here. And I want you guys to try more by just manipulating the numbers. Okay. So here, let's say you have 0. What will happen? By default, your number is what? 0. Starting with 0, right? But if you see the picture, I have given 0/-1, right? So what is happening in this case, since Python supports both, right, forward slashing as well as backward slashing, the moment it sees you have given only negative size step size -1, so automatically start will be considered as -1, this particular part. Okay, and end will be what? Your -10. So it will automatically move from here to here. Okay, that's why you are getting whole number in the negative. Okay, and this is another question which will be asked in the interview. Let me just write. This will be definitely asked. Okay, I'll tell you why it will be asked. Interview question. So they will be asking like this: how do you reverse the number of list without using for loop or any inbuilt function? This should be your answer. Colon -1. That's all. How to reverse numbers of a given list. Okay, so colon -1. That's all. Let's see another one. So I'm just giving -2. Same thing, but in a reverse order. Correct? Now, if I write, let's say -2 to -9. Now, you guys should remember the picture. If I mention -2 to 8, what will happen? You will get confused now. If I give -2 to 8, what is going to be printed? Tell me which direction I am moving.
Right.
Left to right.
Left to right. Okay, so you see the picture once again. -2 is nothing but your 8. Correct? You're getting my point? -2 can be written as 8 also. And -2 to 8 I have given. Basically, you are in the same location. The slicing is not going to work. It is not going to print anything. Okay? So that's what this picture is very important. 8 can be written as -2 also. 6 can be written as -4 because both are same. Because reverse and forward both are supported. I can write 0 as -10 also. Correct? So that's why you don't get any output here. See, it is empty. The moment I write, let's say -2 to -6. Okay, and moreover, we have not given any what to say step size also, right? Whenever you move from right to left or try to move right to left, you should always give step size as -1. If you give this, still no output because it is in the border. There is no there is nothing outside the border. Correct? So what you can do, just put this and let's say -9 I'm putting. See here, you are getting this output. 876 5432. Because I'm moving from where to where? -2 to -9. -2. Let me write again. This is the -2 to -9. And since direction is very much clear, it is moving from right to left, I have to define as plus sizes, sorry, step sizes -1. Okay, let's do some more exercise here. So if I move, let's say 9 to 1, what will be the output? Which direction I am moving? It is very clear, right? 9 to 1 from here to here. So let me take this 9. It is not taking. This 9 to 1 I'm moving, right? So it is very much clear, like I'm moving from right to left. But what is the step size here? Nothing, right? So it is not going to print anything. In this case, you have to explicitly mention colon -1. Okay, guys. So the direction is very important. You guys should remember that. Okay, so I want you guys to play with this by playing, by putting different number either from left, a mix of number. You can put positive index as well as right index, but see in which direction you are moving. Based on that, you choose the step size. That's the only magic you have to do here. Okay, so that's about indexing and slicing. I don't know why it is kept here. Should be removed. Okay, any doubts so far? Otherwise, we'll move to next topic.
Sir, please please tell that reverse the string again. Interview question. I heard a little doubt.
Yeah, this one you are talking?
Yes. No, sir. Reverse one. In
Yeah,
which
this,
we have reverse.
where it went, this one, correct? This one, correct.
Yes, sir. This one.
Yeah, so what is not clear in this? Tell me.
Sir, how it will reverse, because we haven't given the
Start and okay. Let me repeat again. Okay. So as I mentioned, right, we have forward slicing and reverse slicing. Both are supported, correct? So you can write 0 as -10 or -10 as 0. Perfectly fine, right? Because of reverse indexing support. Okay. So whenever you write this colon -1, what happens? Since start is not given, right? So this start by default it is 0. Correct? But the moment you see -1 indexing, so Python will assume that you are trying to reverse from the backside. Okay, so automatically this pointing of start will become -1. Only in this particular case. If you don't hard code the start and end index, when nothing is mentioned, Python interpreter is free to choose based on the indexing, based on the step size. Since you are giving -1, it will go to -1 here. That is the last index, and end will be automatically considered as -10. Okay, this will be -1 and -10, and do the slicing.
Sir, in place of -1, if we write only 1, then it will start from left to right.
Exactly, because let's say you are just writing +1 or just 1. So what happens? Start will be 0, and because of this positive indexing step size, it will take a start from 0, and end will be your this particular 9 number. Okay.
Sir,
So
if the index size is 8 and we put -8 at step size, then what will happen?
come again.
Sir, if the index size is 8 and we put the step size -8, then what will happen?
Oh, -8 you are putting. Okay, so what
Yes,
will
sir.
happen? 8 is your starting. Okay, so what is your starting? 8. Okay, so 8 can be written as -2. Fine. And column, what you have? You don't have anything, right? So as the moment interpreter sees -8 means you are moving from right to left. So -2 to last it will move, and every 8th element. So after -2, what is the next 8th element? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably you will get 0. So you will get 8 and 0. Are you getting that? Okay, let's see
Yes.
that. I think you would have already got 8 and 0, right? So you are putting -8 here, and end is not there, and this you are putting as 8. See, we got 80. Correct. So I want you guys to play with the numbers, then the logic will be clear. Watch this picture once again while revising your indexing slicing, then it will be very much clear. It is just the number, nothing else. Number and the direction. Direction is very important. So fit this picture in the mind. Okay. Fine, guys. If no more question, then let's see a couple of functions which you can, or a couple of methods which you can apply over string. Okay. So first, let's say I define here. This is second Python class. Okay, and here I'm going to just print a. Now we'll see what and all function we can apply over the string. Okay, so how to see the function? We have print dir of a. Correct. So as usual, we'll be ignoring these whatever is starting an underscore, which is having leading and trailing underscores. Okay, so we are going to talk about only those functions. So these are the functions which you will be using heavily. Okay, but I'm not going to show all the function. I'll show how to get the help of it, and a couple of them I'll show with the help of example. Let's say I'll talk about split join, because these are the things which will be heavily asked in interview also, and day-to-day work also it will be very used. Okay, so let's see what is the use of split. So split is what basically you have given a set of character, basically sentence, right? And in that sentence, like a lot of characters or words are coming, which is separated by space. So I want to trim them out. Like basically I want to trim all the spaces and extract all the words only. So those who are going to do natural language processing, right? I think this kind of concept will be very helpful. You'll be using a lot of functionality of this string methods in text processing. Okay. So how to do the split? Let's say I do a dot. So all the function of that object, right? Or Python object or string object, you put dot and all the functions will be listed here. If you press tab also, it will come. If it is not coming, no worries. You can just type the function and press shift and tab. If you hold your mouse cursor here and press shift tab, it is going to show the documentation of it. And this is the Docstring I was talking. This is coming from triple quote of that functionality. Okay, someone has written the documentation of this function in the triple quote. That's why it is coming here. So what it does basically, you need a separator. So how you want to separate out all the characters? Okay, and max split, if you don't want to limit like how many splits should be there, you leave it -1, means it is going to split for all the given characters or given words. Okay, and it is going to return a list of all the words. So what is the split? I want to separate them out with the help of space, because I know space is there, right? And if you run this, it is going to return, see, list of all the words. Okay, so there could be some cases where, let's say, where it is. So let's say all the words are separated with the help of @. Just assume that. Okay, now it is very much looking like just single word, right? But if you see carefully, all the words are separated with the help of @, right? I want to make them more readable. How to do that? So what you can do is just put the @, whatever delimiter is there and whatever space you want to separate out, right? Just put that. See, now this is more readable, right? So this is what you do in the text processing. So a lot of unwanted character you want to remove and you want to separate them out to make it more readable, right? So now I have list of all the words. I want to make it more readable by joining them back. For that, we have something called join. How to join? So let's say I have assigned this output to B and printing B. So B is nothing but list of all the words. Okay, I will join them back with the help of space. Then your sentence will be perfectly fine. It will look good. So join, how to use basically, this is also in the string function. So I want to join them back with the help of space dot join and put the function name, object name. So join takes one list of words, so I can just put B here. Now see the magic. Correct, @ is removed and now we have the spaces and this is the complete sentence. Okay, so split and join will be heavily used whenever you guys are doing some text processing or any kind of document processing where you want to do a lot of output formatting and all, right? It is going to be used. Any doubt in this? I hope you understood this concept. Okay, so if no question, then let's see Z fill. Z fill stands for zero filling. Okay, so let's say you have a lot of words, right, or a lot of sentence, let's say, and whenever you do print, right, it will be printing and it will not be aligned properly, right? So let's say if I show you A equal to this, B equal to this, C equal to line 1. Okay, print A, print B, and C. You see here, so this is coming, then is also coming, line 1 is also coming, but you see they are not aligned properly. Okay, so for this alignment you should do what, either you can do left justified or right justified or center justified, right? So that is another way to do that, but still a lot of spaces will be left out. I want to exactly make a block of character by maintaining the same width. So for that purpose we have something called zero fill. Okay, so how we can do that, let's talk about it. So what I'll do, how that zero fill works, basically A dot Z fill, and here it takes how many width you want, right? What is the total width you want? So I always put, let's say, some maximum number. Let's say I can put 30. So what will happen? It is going to maintain the, no matter how many character you have, it is going to exactly make this as a 30 width character. Width will be, width of that word will be total 30 character. Then you print them later, right? It will be exactly aligned together. Okay, so this could not be a real use case, but I'm just telling zero filling will be used mostly like binary or hex conversion, right? Or octal conversion. Let's say you want to have 16-bit representation, 32-bit representation, 64-bit representation, right? So let's say for one, it cannot be 60-bit, correct? One will be like one only in binary representation. You want to make it 64-bit. So another 63-bit you are going to fill behind the one. So it will be maintained as 60-bit, 64-bit. Okay. So in this case, what I can do? So that is basically a real use case of this. I can use B and I can use C. Okay, now you see here all are aligned properly and it is showing me in the form of block. Okay, so that's about Z fill, and we have something called, where is in the example? Yeah, this one. Couple of other examples are there, so I'll just show one of them. Let's say you want to make titleize or capitalize, right? So let's say we have a lot of word where it is just, let's say, CON. This is also right, this is correct spelling wise, but you see some characters are capital and some are small. So you want to make it completely capital, you can do A dot lower. You see here all are lowercase. If you want to make upper, all upper, you can make upper. If you want to make title, so how title works? So every first character of each word will be capital letter, rest will be small. If you want to do capitalize, see here only the first letter of first word will be capital, rest will be small. Okay, so these kind of thing available in the string, which you can use for documentation or formatting of document or output formatting. Okay, so that is some use, and a couple of other functions are there I want you guys to explore in your free time. Okay, and how to get the help? You just click on the function, press shift and tab, it will show the help. Now let's see one more important thing about this output formatting. Okay, so in print you can do formatting using curly braces also. Okay, this is also very helpful. So let's say I have A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to, let's say I want to print something. Print, this is number 1. Let's say you don't know how this curly braces formatting works, right? So mostly what you will do, this is number 1. So mostly you are going to add the string, okay? And here you will add maybe A, and you may have to do typecasting because string with DZ you cannot add, right? A plus this is another number 2. plus str of b. If you do this, it looks okay, and this is fine, perfectly fine. But you see how many formatting, how many plus operator, how many times you are using string and typecasting. It is not more optimized and not the recommended way. Okay, so to overcome from this problem, you have something called curly braces way of string formatting. So let's see the same example and see how beautifully I can fine tune this. So this is number 1. I just put curly braces, and this is another number dot. Then you just apply dot here and apply the function called format. This is nothing but it is coming from this dir. Format function will be there. If you see somewhere, this is the one. That is the use of this format. Okay. So what it does basically, it will do typecasting all internally, which you don't have to worry. Format and put the number. That's all. A and B. So how it will work? How many curly braces you have used? Exactly those number of variables should be added here. So A will be consumed by this curly braces and B will be consumed by this curly braces. That's all. Now you understand which one is easy, and definitely you are going to start to this particular use, not this one. This is also fine, but I would never recommend this kind of way to do string formatting or output formatting. Okay guys, so that's all about string. So now we have any question on this? Anybody?
Sir, if we want to restructure this, like we want to place A at the place of B, then
Exactly. That is another good question. So in this case, you want to do B, then A, right? So what you can do? So whichever is coming in this order, right? It will be added in this order. Okay. But if you want to make sure that there is no ordering matters here, so I think we have something called A and B you can write here. So let's say I want to write A here and I want to write B. Let's see if that works or not. There was one way to do that. Let me see. I'm not able to recall. You can just, let's say, even though you have written B and A here, right? So first curly braces will be taking B. But let's say you have written B and A, and I want to make sure that here A only comes and here B comes. Okay, so what was that format? A. Okay, I'll find out and show you in the next video. Okay, I'm not able to recall that format, but there is a way to do that where you don't care the ordering. But if you just mention A and B, it will fetch that value from the format bracket and just replace it. That's how it will work. Okay, any other question? We have a lot of other formatting, a lot of advanced formatting. So if I talk, then you may get confused. It may be a little complex for you guys. But for time being, just remember this. This is what you are going to use basic one heavily. And once you are expert in Python, you can explore other way of doing string formatting. Okay, if no more question, let's talk about like what and all interview questions can be analyzed. So what is multi-line comment? How do you define and where to use? So how do you define single triple quote or double triple quote? Correct. And it is used basically for Docstring. We'll see in the function class. Can we alter characters of a defined string? No, because it is which data type?
Immutable.
Immutable. Correct. And yeah, string is mutable or immutable. Of course, it is immutable type. How do you print all characters in reverse order of a given string?
step
How do you
size
print?
-1.
Column -1, right? What is split and join method and how to use them? I have already shown the examples. So split is basically used for, with the help of delimiter, you are extracting the words, and join using join function, you can join them back with the help of spaces or any other special character. Okay, so here comes the end of string data type. Any questions so far? We have 5 minutes. Any question from today's class or yesterday's class? Okay, if no question, then next class we'll see list, dictionary, set, and for loop, while loop, as well as if else condition, nested if else condition.
Sir.
But What is the use of break and continue, pass? Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. I haven't written it the previous class, so I am using VS Code instead of Jupyter, sir. Will it create some problem?
No, it will not create, but I would suggest to use Jupyter. It will be quite easy. Or maybe I think in VS Code also they have one plugin for Jupyter, like same kind of plugin you will find there. But personally, I have never worked with VS Code, but I think I have seen it somewhere. So if you are very much familiar with that interface, you are good to proceed with that. But as I mentioned, it has a lot of benefits to use Jupyter and Anaconda. So I think if you are planning to consider that, then switch to Jupyter only. Okay. So what about videos? I have shared with everyone almost. So in YouTube, I am able to put only 171 email ID. Other 20-30 are still pending. Not sure what is the issue. Either email ID is not existing or they would have typed some wrong ID. So all of you are able to see?
No, sir. It is showing private video.
No, sir. It is showing private, sir.
Okay, then those, I think you guys might not have access. What about others? Who is able to see? Just tell me.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, so then your email
Yes,
ID
sir,
is
it is
proper.
visible.
Correct. Then it is valid and it is added properly. So those who are not able to see, probably personally, you can ping your ID in the WhatsApp group. Okay, I'll add. So doesn't matter you are attending the class or not. It is for everyone. Those who have enrolled, right? I think madam has collected all the email ID. So I have shared the video with all the IDs. Okay, guys. So you guys are liking this class. I hope you are learning something new and it is very interesting.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Any other thing you want to see, like more examples? Some. How's the place? Is it too fast, too slow, or good?
Good.
Good, sir.
So please try in your free time, at least watch the video and download the notebook and just alter the data and just run it and see the output, see what is happening. At least with limited time, you can just run your notebook, right? You don't have to type anything. So just by running also, you'll get to know something. Okay. So let's wind it up and thank you so much and see you in the next week. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
problem you guys are facing, just put your question in the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a good day, sir.
You too, guys.